before we go on to what you're doing now, we've got a new segment in the Leeds Business Podcast, and it's called the Business Surgery. I've asked listeners and viewers to send in their business problems, and I will try and give some sort of solution, and my guests will as well. This week's problem, if I can find it, was sent in by Nigel Croft. Not sure what Nigel's business is, but thank you, Nigel. Nigel says, I'm currently doing my forward planning. How far in advance should I do my strategy? Now, that's a really good question, actually. I'll answer first, then Mark can give his answer. When I work with my clients, I always start with asking them the question, what does perfect look like in a year's time? And then work with them. I've got a 5-step process, which I call the Fraser 5-step. Just so childishly, I can write FFS in lots of emails and snigger. And
that works for me.
And that takes clients through a 5-step process to put a 1-year strategy together. And the reason I do 1 year is because things, Mark's a perfect example of this. Things change so much over even 3 months, 6 months, a year, that I think anything further, yes, have a BHAG in place, have a big, hairy, audacious goal to aim at, that you vaguely know where you're going. But I think anything over a year is probably a bit too far. Having said that, by the time this episode comes out, I will have spoken to James Kempley from Troy Foods, who is talking about a 5-year plan because he's got big investment and big expansion plans. And yes, if you're a big company with big investment needs, then yes, you're going to be longer. But my answer would be a year max. Mark, what do you think?
Yep, completely agree. I'll name check Gary from Tendo, Gary King. I did see him talking about this and saying about people with 5-year plans. It's like there's very few businesses that you can actually do that for realistically. I agree with a year. I tend to take the view that business is it's just often like trying to build a house on sand. There's always this shifting sands. You need a few steel rods driven through that you can hang on to and say, this is what we're about, and build a 12-month plan around that. At the end of the day, all the standard stuff, what's the purpose of the business? What's the critical success factors look like? What's your departmental purpose? How do you measure those KPIs? And you can flow all that things down. But you can also end up with a space where you get, paralysis through analysis. And it's, so for me, it's, you've got your daily operations, do right by your people, do them well, make sure everyone in the business has got 4 things that they understand about what your business is about, or 5, whatever it is, but, and get alignment behind that. If it's too far in the future, if there's, at what point do you start discarding things, as something, oh no, but this is a day-to-day issue now, but we want to do that in 48 months time. Well, okay, but how much, where is it now with your short-term goals? So absolutely agree. 12 months and a shorter plan with everyone behind it is better than a longer plan that no one understands.
Yep, I like that. There you go, Nigel. Hope that answers your question. And if anybody has got a business problem they want to send into the Business Surgery, just drop me an email, phil@leedsbusinesspodcast.com, and hopefully me and a future guest will solve your problem.